Former Ako Bicol Party List Representative Zaldy Co breaks his silence on the 2025 budget mess and flood control issue. In a video statement sent to reporters on Friday, November 14, Co says he is surprised as to why President Bongbong Marcos allegedly claimed that he wasn't able to recognize the then proposed 2025 national budget from Congress. According to Co, the insertions were supposedly the idea of Marcos himself. Co says everything started after Budget Secretary Amenang Pangandaman called to inform him that Marcos allegedly wanted 100 billion pesos worth of insertions in the 2025 national budget. Co says Pangandaman had asked him to confirm the president's order with Presidential Legislative Liaison Office Undersecretary Adrian Bersamin. After confirmation, Co says he told then House Speaker Martin Romualdez about this instruction.
Tinawagan ko po agad si Usec Adrian Bersamin at tinanong ko kung may instruction nga ba ang Pangulo na magpasok ng 100 billion during their meeting. Ang sabi niya ay totoo nga po. Right after our conversation, tinawagan ko po si dating Speaker Martin Romualdez at nireport ko ang instructions ng Presidente to insert the 100 billion projects. At sinabi niya sa akin, what the President wants, he gets.
The resigned House member also says he even appealed to Pangandaman and Bersamin to only allocate 50 billion pesos to unprogrammed funds. This is so that funds for the Department of Public Works and Highways would not exceed the allocation for the Department of Education, which would contravene constitutional provisions.
Pagkatapos ng isang araw, tinawagan ako ni Sec Mina at sinabi ang mensahe ng Pangulo. Ipasok ninyo yan dahil pinangako na sa akin ni Speaker Martin yan at hindi na pwedeng baguhin. Kumbaga, ang utos ng hari hindi pwedeng mabali. Again, I informed the Speaker and asked clearance about the instructions ng Pangulo. At ang sabi niya, wala tayong magagawa. Kaya po nagtataka ako kung bakit sinasabi ni Pangulo na hindi niya makilala ang budget. Samantalang lahat na binawas at dinagdag sa mga ahensya ng gobyerno ay humihingi ng approval sa kanya si Sec Mina Pangandaman.
Questions have surrounded the 2025 budget ever since the Bicameral Conference Committee finalized the budget bill. This includes claims that the BICAM report the House ratified included blank items. Meanwhile, Co is accused of last-minute budget insertions in the 2025 national budget. He is also facing allegations of receiving kickbacks from government infrastructure projects. Co has previously denied these allegations. In a press briefing later today, Palace Press Officer Claire Castro refutes Co's allegations, calling them baseless.
Lahat ng mga sinasabi ni Zaldy Co ay pawang mga imbento lamang, walang basihan, walang ebidensya. Umuwi muna siya sa Pilipinas at sumpaan ang kanyang mga sinabi at harapin ang mga demanda o kaso laban sa kanya. Pakatandaan natin, nagsimula ito sa sinabi ng Pangulo sa kanyang Zona 2025. Mahiya naman kayo. Bakit niya pasisimulan ang malalimang pag-iimbestiga? Mag-establish ng ICI, Independent Commission to investigate the anomalous flood control projects and other infrastructure kung ang Pangulo ay may kinalaman dito.
Former Public Works Undersecretary Roberto Bernardo implicates a new mix of senators, former senators, and a sitting secretary in the flood control mess. Bernardo presented his supplemental affidavit during the Senate panel on Blue Ribbon's probe into anomalous flood control projects on Friday, November 14. Bernardo reiterates what he had already disclosed in the previous hearings, naming individuals who supposedly received commitments from Department of Public Works and Highways projects. He again tags former Public Works Secretary Manuel Bonoan, former Public Works Undersecretary Cathy Cabral, as well as Senators Bong Revilla, Chis Escudero, and Jinggoy Estrada. He likewise mentions Makati Mayor Anansi Binay as well as former House lawmakers Zaldy Co, Mitch Kahayon-Uy, and Rida Robes. Bernardo then adds new names. Bernardo presumes that a relative of Senator Mark Villar supposedly received commitments from DPWH projects when the senator was still head of the agency.
As Undersecretary for Planning Service, Usec Cabral was working closely with Sec Mark Villar for the allocation, listing, and budgeting of all the DPWH infrastructure projects. All of this time, the funding of all projects was cleared through Usec Cabral for approval by Sec Mark Villar. From time to time, Usec Cabral would ask me to submit detailed list of projects with regards to lump sum fund allocations of DPWH, which list she sometimes would approve herself or forward to Sec Mark Villar for approval. Among others, this included EDSA and other major roads, project allocations, maintenance of creeks and waterways, etc.
Among the other individuals he mentioned was a former Senate staffer under Senator Grace Poe.
Sometime third quarter of 2024, J.Y. De La Rosa, a staff of Senator Grace Poe, requested Sec Bonoan through me if Senator Grace Poe can be accommodated in the DPWH NEP. Sec Bonoan told me there is a 500 million for Senator Grace Poe and instructed me to ask the Senator for a list of projects.
According to Bernardo, the list of projects was included in the National Expenditures Program by Bonoan through Cabral. Meanwhile, he likewise cites the staff of the current Education Secretary, Sonny Angara. Bernardo says he and Education Undersecretary Trigiv Olivar had transactions.
Aside from the details I had earlier mentioned in my affidavit dated 25 of September 2025, Usec Trigiv and I also had transactions concerning Senator Angara between 2019 and 2024.
Vice President Sara Duterte admits reaching a point where she is now merely waiting for the current administration to have her jailed. During the Office of the Vice President's 90th anniversary event on Friday, November 14, Duterte expresses her office's support for upcoming protests against corruption in government. In a chance interview, Duterte was asked if she fears that this support may prompt the government to file charges against her.
Actually, ma'am, inaantay ko lang kung kailan nila ako ikukulong. But apparently hanggang ngayon, hindi pa rin nila mabuo-buo talaga kung ano yung strategy nila, paano nila ako ikulong. Dahil wala talaga silang ebidensya ng maling ginawa.
The Vice President also says she wasn't worried about Ombudsman Boying Remulla or the possible cases he might file against her. The Ombudsman has already begun reviewing complaints filed against Duterte over the alleged misuse of confidential funds by her office and the Department of Education during her tenure. Duterte says she is prepared for whatever may come.
Natatakot hindi kasi nakahanda naman na ako sa posibleng mga mangyari sa akin.
In the same interview, Duterte claims that the government is using sedition charges to silence dissent. The Criminal Investigation and Detection Group recently filed a criminal complaint against Cavite Representative Kiko Barzaga over violent incidents during the September 21 anti-corruption protests. According to Duterte, the government should be thick-skinned instead of being easily affected by criticism or dissent.
Ginagamit nilang panakot at ang gusto ko lang sabihin ay, katulad kanina, sinabi ko, huwag masyadong maging balat sibuyas yung administrasyon. Dahil isa sa aspeto ng demokrasya at good governance ay dissent. At hindi mo pwedeng pigilan yun. Dahil karapatan yan ng mga tao na magsalita kung ano yung iniisip nila, kung ano yung nararamdaman nila. Kung hindi man pabor sa administrasyon o gobyerno na yung sinasabi ng mga tao ay dapat respetuhin nila yon.
Duterte herself is facing sedition and grave threats charges before the Department of Justice. The charges were over her remarks during an online press conference last November 2024. Duterte had said she asked someone to kill President Bongbong Marcos, his wife First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos, and his cousin, then Speaker Martin Romualdez, should she herself be killed. Local oil firms are expected to announce another wave of fuel price hikes next week. In an advisory on Friday, November 14, Jetty Petroleum President Leo Bellas says the prices of diesel may increase by 1 peso to 1 peso and 20 centavos per liter on November 18. Gasoline prices may also rise by 1 peso and 30 centavos to 1 peso and 50 centavos a liter. This will mark the 4th weekly round of increases for diesel and the 7th for gasoline. Bellas says the factors contributing to the potential price hike of diesel include planned refinery closures, which could limit supply. He also cites the growing concerns over sanctions against Russian oil. He adds that gasoline prices remain high amid expectations of tighter supply due to firm regional demand. This week, motorists saw gasoline increase by 50 centavos per liter and diesel by 1 peso per liter.